Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a great day today. See, we're over here in South Carolina preparing and bracing for Hurricane Florence's arrival here this weekend. So we still don't know what it's going to do. I think it's going to go north, and they're saying it's going to run up to the beach in North Carolina, decide it doesn't want to go on, make that left turn, and come to Myrtle Beach. So, we'll see. I've never seen a hurricane do anything like that before, but, hurricanes are like our trades. You know, the hurricanes are always different. They're going to have different shapes, different paths, different personalities. You know, no two storms are going to be the same. And our trades are kind of the same way. The setup may look the same. It might meet the certain parameters, like a hurricane meets the parameters that will qualify it for a hurricane. But everything else around it is a little bit different. It's got its own personality, and our trades take that same personality. So, so this storm is going to be, unique and totally different than the ones that I've been tracking really for the last 30 years. But it's going to be interesting. We just have to sit back and wait and see what happens. Um, Yesterday, I tweeted out this video that ET did, and it talks about if there's no struggle, there's no progress. And when you try to avoid the struggle, it's hurting your success, because there is a process that you have to go through depending on what you want to be. As a trader, we have to go through the process of learning and growing and turning ourselves into a trader. Naturally, we're not traders. We have to build ourselves and mold ourselves into that person that needs to be that trader. And he uses the analogy of the butterfly. The caterpillar turning into the butterfly, and what he has to do. First the caterpillar crawls around, then it goes into a cocoon, and as that cocoon dries out, it squeezes and it shapes and molds, and it puts this thing under tremendous pressure, and out of it comes this beautiful butterfly. Well, I think butterflies are beautiful. Some people don't, but it's the process. And if you try to shortchange the process in the cocoon stage, the butterfly never develops. And if we try to shortchange ourselves, and when we're learning and growing as a trader, then we're not going to develop. We may die prematurely as a trader. So I'll put the link to the video. He explains it a heck of a lot better than I ever would. Even if you don't like ET, my wife says he screams too much for her, but listen to the message. It's an incredible message, and relate it to your trading, and it will help you see things, in a different light. All right, guys. So today I'm going to do a lot of things at one time. It's funny. Right at 3 o'clock or somewhere around there, my power went out. It was crazy because the sun was shining, no wind, no rain, nothing. It was a beautiful day, and all of a sudden everything is gone. And I was working on this presentation, and everything just went black. And really, the whole neighborhood. It wasn't just my little area. The whole subdivision blackout. And I tried to get back to do this, and my presentation got lost. I had to start over and do all of this. So I promised you guys I would do it, record it tonight. I'll post it on the website in the member videos, and I'll also, leave it here on YouTube to make sure everybody can get it. And I'll talk about the trades today and all that stuff. So I'll incorporate all of that into what we're doing. So the question that I'm answering this week is, why don't I actively trade after 11? There's a real good reason why I don't do it. So let's look at this scenario here. Tell me if this sounds familiar to you. Bob has the day off from work, and he has all day to be in the market. So he's, come in early. He's built his watch list. He's reared up and ready to go. And bam, he nails a perfect opening range trade. He catches the secondary move. He's on cloud nine. He's like, man, this is it. I got it. It's about 10:45 in the morning. And, volume is starting to lead the market, but he's on fire. He has the whole day off. He wants to make the best of it. So he's going to start looking for anything that moves. Any stock that seems to be moving. Whatever stock, the members in chat are talking about. Whatever's being, blown up on Twitter. But he just has to trade something because he is the king right now. So now it's about 1 o'clock. Bob is upside down. He's chased stocks that other people have posted that he's found on social media, and he has just given back all of his gains and then some. So now he's even more determined. He's got to get back green. He's like, man, I had this money, but I know I can get it back. So he goes deeper in and starts forcing even more trades in the afternoon. And you start seeing setups that just aren't there. It's like you're just looking, and as soon as something looks like it's going to work, you just jump on it. So how many of you live that story? I know I used to live it all the time. Because when I was working and trying to trade full time, when I would take a day off or take a sick day, I felt I had to take a trade. I didn't want to waste that day. And so if I did good, I would keep trading. Or it doesn't even have to be that you have a day off. If you just nail a trade in the morning and you just feel like this is your day, so you need to take advantage of it. And then next thing you know, you're red on the day. Now, that happens a lot. I see it in chat every day. No matter how much I say, it's time to shut it down. Let's wait until after lunch and see if we get some breaking news. See if we get something that's going to get some momentum and give us a decent move. But, to each his own. It's your trading, your career. You got to do what you got to do. But the reason why we have these issues is the lack of volume. The same reason it's hard to trade pre-market and it's hard to trade post-market, it's hard to trade between 11 and 1 because a lot of the volume is down. And it makes the stock unpredictable and it doesn't really follow trends that well. Lack of volume hurts the liquidity of the stock. Therefore, any breakouts, breakdowns, or sustained moves will likely not occur. There'll be fake outs, which is why you lose your money. They bait you in. The reason for that, the market makers, the fund and investment bank traders, the algo traders, they're usually going to put large sell orders or large buy orders just below any intraday breakout or breakdown level. And anytime something hits it, it starts to go back the other way. And it bakes retail traders in like us who are looking to short these breakdowns or buy these breakouts. It leaves us sitting there with that deer in the headlights look that paralyzes us just before we get the crap knocked out of us by that truck. Never honks his horn. The only time you see it coming is as soon as it hits you. So, the spread usually gets a little wider as well. Just like pre-market, the volume is low, we deal with wider spreads. Aftermarket, the same way. This time of the day, spreads start to separate a little bit. Now, I'm not talking about every stock. I'm talking about most of the stocks. Now you're always going to have a couple of stocks that may have momentum that carries on, and but I'm talking about if you don't have a stock that you're trading, it's usually not a good idea to take new positions at that time of the day. Um, Lack of volume also creates what we call chop. We talk about it every day in chat, where a stock jumps and makes this erratic moves, unexplained moves, and kind of gets into this channel. And sometimes it'll trade over moving averages, come back in, go below, come back in. It's not respecting any levels. And if we're looking to buy a breakout over the VWAP, we buy it and then it comes right back down and goes below it and goes down to another moving average or support, goes through that, makes people think it's going short. They get short and bam, comes back up, goes back up through the VWAP, and you're sitting here trading trying to get in this thing. Now, you haven't realized what they're doing yet. Once you realize what these guys are doing, then you can get on the right side. And if you're a scalper, you know how to make money. But if you don't, and you're inexperienced, this is when you really start to, lose your money. And your account gets chopped up bits at a time. Oftentimes that channel is only 10 to 30 cents. Unless you can trade size, you can't really make much money. It can also cause stocks to trade erratically again by not respecting the levels. And this can allow you to develop bad habits that more than likely will hurt your overall consistency. So, lack of volume is the main reason why, well, really one of the main reasons why. There's another reason as well, but one of the main reasons why is that the volume goes away and it makes a stock a lot harder to read and a lot harder to trade. Also, I need a break. Okay, we don't have an infinite amount of mental energy. We have to recharge our minds. I use a lot of it preparing for my watch list, preparing for the open. I use the majority of what I have left of my mental energy in my trade. Making sure I nail the entry, managing my trade, managing my emotions, making sure I keep everything in check. By 10:30, 11 o'clock, I'm mentally exhausted. I need a break. And according to medical research, the best way to recharge your brain is through sleep. So I try to get a good lunch and then at least a 30-minute nap or so. If I can nap for 45 minutes to an hour, I will do that. But, and it doesn't have to be, me, just like you see this picture here. I'm knocked out on my chair. This is back in the old Warrior trading days. And, when I had my laptop power and everything, and, I didn't need a whole lot of anything. Life was simple. And, I had a couch right here that I could lay down on a lot. But back then I felt I had to be in front of my computer. And, sometimes it would bite me. But no matter what, you got to get some rest. You got to recharge your brain, or else you get into this, and when you're tired, your emotions can come in and take over and cause you some issues. You start getting erratic. You're not able to be patient. You're not able to be disciplined. And you can feel these things just slipping away. So you want to make sure that you rest. You take a break between the morning and the afternoon session. Now I know some of you guys, you can't come in until 10:30 or 11. You can't come in until lunch. You're the guys that need to learn how to read what's happening during that time. It's more challenging, but it's not impossible. Okay, but if you're coming in fresh, then you're gonna have a better opportunity, a better chance of trading that mess. But I still feel it's mess. I'm not gonna really touch it. So, I just shut it down. Now, yeah, sometimes I may not leave until 12. That means I was in a trade already. I'm still waiting for it to finish. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But I try to take my lunch at 11 and come back around a quarter to 1 so I can be there watching the stocks I want to watch and see how they react coming out of lunch. But everything's different. Every day is a little different. So some days I can't. Some days I'm trading till 1 o'clock because I'm already in a trade and I'm just waiting for these things to work themselves out. But for the most part, you see me done by like 12. All right, so let's look at an example today. Okay, here's my boy. Today, they're out of school for the whole week. And, so obviously we're going to do some trading. Nice little pre-market deal here. I made a couple dollars on it. Let me see, I think first trade, I think this was about 80. Oh, let me see. Right here. Okay, first trade, this is a pre-market trade. These are a little bit harder. About $88, $89. Okay, good first trade. Start the day off on green. He missed the opening range breakdown here, but got it under the 200. Nice entry. Right here. I guess it got split between 95 and 96. This is a 300 share order. So nice entry there against the 200. Scaled out. And here's exactly the way I teach this. When we're scaling out, once we hit that second one, I always say put your profit stop back at your first target. That way, if this thing goes against you and it continues to push back up, you're not sitting there giving up all this profit waiting to get taken back out at break even. If it pulls all the way back, you can always get back in. So this was great. And this one, 55, 29, that's about, okay, that's going to be about $135, $140. So altogether, about 230 bucks. Okay, let's say 230. I'm just rounding it up, but it's going to be close within $5 or so. So now, excellent morning. Okay, who would not want to finish the morning just over 200 bucks? Okay. Now, I drew this line at 1030 because for me, 1030 is it. Unless the stock, unless you're still in a trade and the stock really looks like it wants to do something. But here's where things start to go bad. Now, honestly, it does look like we're rolling over here. So this was another good entry. Or I probably would have waited for this candle and got in below this. So as far as I can tell, this was a little rush. Okay, but that's because we're happy. We're nailing it. Life is green. So, that little, bug in our head is telling us, man, keep going. We got this. And then all of a sudden, you get fooled and you get stopped out. So this was about 50, 60 bucks. 66 bucks on this. So we got 300 here, shorted at 332 at 632, got out 654. So yeah, 66 bucks. So now we subtracted 66 from our 229, 230. You know, let's say we're at 140 bucks. I mean $150 now. And you take a peek at your P&L and it's like, dog, man, I lost. Okay. And then you jump back in. You think it's going long. You completely ignore the 20 here. You want to get that money back. So you're going to jump in because you think, here we made a higher low. Look at this. We getting ready to push. And, you know, at this time, we're not even looking at this candle. This candle hadn't come in play yet. I'm looking at the volume here. We're starting to go the wrong way. So we're slowing way down. I'm not going to expect, you know, too good of a move. But he jumped in here and ended up, I mean, it did make a little move up. But it, you know, this wasn't enough room to take profit. This wasn't really enough room to take profit. Or, he might have had an order sitting here right on VWAP and it never did hit it and stopped out. All right, so this one, not as bad, 13 cents. So this was only about, what, $39. Okay. So altogether, you gave back just over $100. So you're still green now. In this case, he's lucky. He's still green. But on the verge of just giving it all back. Now here's a big mistake. Okay. Now you've got two red trades. You're giving half your money back. You're pissed. I want my money back. I want to get back to 200. So how can I get, back? Let's increase our share size. Bad move. You never want to do that. If you're comfortable trading, don't increase your share size and try to get a smaller move and make money back. It is really, really a bad thing to do. But again, I wish I had this lady luck. Held it through all of this, came back out of lunch, and we did get a little push up over the 20. But the ideal entry on this was after lunch, and once we failed to hold over the 20. Here, we failed once, we failed twice. We couldn't really push over, hit the third time we did, we couldn't hold again. I'll be all over this. This would have convinced me to get in and just hold on to this. And you can see this is just tired trading here. No reason to take, well, I guess you held it so long. So yeah, you're going to hit some profit when it dips down. 23 cents? It only dropped down 23 cents from your entry. So why? And then here's some more here at 18. How many cents? That's only 7 cents away from this. Why not take it all off? And then here's another one 5 cents away from here. Okay? This is not, and I actually did this because the power was out and I had to go to, I just drove to Starbucks and all I did was click this once the market closed. But, I was able to really look at this and say, okay, look, these are some bad habits that are creeping in, that we don't need. And it's all one of the biggest reasons why I don't like trading or taking new positions after 10:30, 11. I just don't. And this is why. Yeah, picked up a couple bucks here and kind of brought it back around, but this could have been a train wreck. What if this held the 20 this time and pushed up, stopping you out? You would have given back everything and then some, then red. No, but fortunately this worked out. But this is an example. This is a perfect example of why I don't like to trade this. I like to wait, and then if this thing establishes, and this was a good window here, down to red to green, and it eventually did this after the close. So this was a good thesis. It just didn't have what it took, to get there. It just didn't have the volume to drive this. So, good example of what not to do. Here's another stock that was on our watch list. NXPI. This is one that I missed. This was the main one I was watching, and it put in the low, the opening range low here, and then we pull back. So my thing is, I'm gonna wait until we break the opening range low, or I could have gotten in up here, anticipating the break, and this was a decent setup. I could get in up here, manage my risk here, and I was telling myself, it just doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. And yeah, if you're not comfortable, don't get in it. But I realized I was doing something very wrong, and I was able to identify it. I don't know if any of you have seen that movie, Crazy Rich Asians, but it's a funny movie. But the very first scene is a very powerful lesson for traders. One of the characters was an economics professor, and they were playing poker or playing cards, and she flat bluffed the guy. The guy had a winning hand. She had nothing, but she bluffed him. And she told him the reason why she won is that he was playing not to lose. He was playing not to lose his money while she was playing to win. And that's what happens to us in our trading. Sometimes we trade not to lose. And this morning, I was trading not to lose. I felt in my heart that I didn't want to take a loss. So I was reveling in the good swing trade that I hit this week and what I was still making on it. And I didn't want to lose in day trading. I didn't want to feel the loss. And we as humans don't like to lose, especially money. There's something about the emotions of losing money that we have to get over. And I felt that this week, this morning, and I knew it, and I was able to quickly get over it. But, I flat missed this trade. And you can see the huge sell-off. And right at 11 o'clock, we're bouncing. Okay? So for me, I would not take this trade. And here's where the erratic trading starts. We had this one huge candle. Look at all these other candles, with the exception of this, in the morning volatility. This came out of nowhere, ran right up to the 20. And then we traded through the 20, through the VWAP, and hell. And here's the sideways action here from about 11:30 to 1. This is where a lot of new inexperienced traders could have lost money, because they were looking for it to pull back the VWAP and hold, and they buy it and it won't go anywhere, and it comes back, they just take it off, and then later on it makes the move. But here's where it became erratic, and here's where it broke every rule. Nowhere in the world am I going to buy into this resistance. I'm not. You can't buy, you have this huge candle running right up to this. Why would you buy it? This is not good on a normal day. This isn't going to blow through all of this, but this is what I feel is erratic. So if I start doing this and making money, then I've created a bad habit of buying into resistance. So that was something that I wanted to point this out. But here's the time that I just don't like to trade. Now, if I'm already in a trade, that's different. But I'm not going to open it up again. And yeah, I know some of you are saying, well, you could have gotten in here on a reversal, but for me, the 9 moving average is too close. It's coming in hard. This is telling me to stay away from this. Then all of a sudden, here's the erratic move. So guess what? I get a reversal next time and I take this, and for the next 3 or 4 trades, it never pushes the 9 and it ends up stopping me out. And here I let this trade that happens at the most inopportune time of the day convince me to start breaking my rules, and I end up losing. Here's MU. This is a stock that I did trade. It didn't give us the big move, but it was okay. And dadgummit, I forgot to put the arrows on. But here's the entry, around 10:08. Right here when we were getting ready to break this opening range low, I took it just like I should have on the other trade. As we were failing, I was taking it in anticipation of breaking this opening range low. So I got in up here at 41.31. It did bounce and cause me a little bit of concern here for a minute. But look at the trend. Everything was trending down. And we were still, had pretty decent volume on this. So I felt pretty confident. And ended up coming down, hitting my first target. Well, my first target was 75, but I couldn't catch it. I got it at 80. And as we started to turn, and I recognized in the price action that I was looking at the 2-minute chart, and it kind of confirmed what I was seeing. So I ended up taking it off here at 92. But there was a level down here at 40, 41 or so that I was looking for it to hit. But it just couldn't get there. But once I got over here, yeah, this would have been a good, bounce here. This is one of the rare occasions that this thing made a huge 1-point move. But same instance, no way I would have bought into all of this resistance. If I start doing this because I've seen this happen a couple times, then it's going to cause me to develop bad habits, and I don't want to do that. But yeah, I could have been lucky, took a gamble and bought it and made some money here. See how it comes back through? It just traded through this resistance, came back through the support, went back through. It just doesn't make sense. So this is the stuff I kind of stay away from. And I don't like this. There are some people that like trading it, and more power to them. That's what they like. I'm not going to say they're wrong because trading is different for everybody. But I'm answering the question for me. This is why I don't like doing it. The last one we'll look at, this is the other one that was on our watch. This GILD. You can see how this one just traded crazy all day. And, going into lunch, we had, about a 20, 30 cent move down. And then look at it come back up and just go through all of this resistance like it wasn't there on on really low volume. So anything, like I said, anything can happen. Anything can happen during this time, and things happen that just don't make sense. And you're gonna have days where it just blows through everything. You're gonna have days where it doesn't do anything. It just goes sideways, up or down, and it chops you out. In 10 and 20 cent moves. So I just can't do it. It's just not something that I'm comfortable doing. So I hope this answers your question. Why I don't actively trade after 11. I like to come in after lunch, turn on the news. That's when I start actively listening to the news. See if we get any breaking news trades. And I'm still watching the trades that are on my watch list. So, because sometimes they do pick up volume coming out of lunch and they end up making the move that I was looking for. So, that's always there. So I am looking for trades, but I'm not chasing trades. That's the key. I'm not chasing trades. I'm waiting for them to come to me. So I'm still looking. I'm just not that active, after 11. All right, guys. So if you have any questions, I know we're not there live today for you to ask me questions. So if you have any questions, go ahead and shoot me an email. I'll be glad to answer them for you. But if not, you guys, if you're in the hurricane area, affected areas, be prepared, be safe. We're going to keep monitoring it and looking to see what we're going to need to do. Right now we're ready. So it's just a matter of sitting back, waiting, and ready to greet this lady when she gets here. But everybody else, you have a great night, a great evening, and I will see you first thing in the morning.